The Daily Purge. Hey, how much truth is in who you are, or at least who you say you or think you are? Something I was thinking about today. Lane and I had a call with a potential client, and pretty powerful guy, pretty interesting. And all the questions were the classic business questions and classic structural questions, and how do you know when you've reached it? How do you know when you do this? And how do you implement this? And how do you implement that and stuff? And how do you know when you're ready? Like basically the question was, how do I know when I'm a humble alpha? And how will you guys accept me? How will you know when I'm a humble alpha? And that was a great question, And basically, what came out was that people can't help but express themselves, even if they don't know they are. Even if they're using an outward sort of a title as position, or they're using a position as power or a title as power. Morning, David, Daniel, and Jared. How you doing? Even if they're using, like, I'm the CEO of whatever, they're expressing themselves, right? And to be a humble alpha basically means you see that for what it is. You see immediately that person's using that power, gaining their power from that position or that title. So it makes it obvious to us where they are in their life journey as far as the humble alpha method goes. And what came out of the conversation also was that every time you ask a question, there's no specific answer. There's no one answer for everyone, because it all depends on your journey and what the moment calls for in your journey. And allowing yourself to accept that the moment called for that during your journey, in your journey. You see what I'm saying? It's an abstract way of thinking, but very specific. And on the flip side, it's very specific, is you're letting go of your preconceived notions. You're letting go of a predictated thought. You're letting go of what something is supposed to mean or not supposed to mean. You see it in the world today. Everyone's trying to fit in somewhere. Everyone's a color, a race, a gender, a political organization, a movement. There's something. Everybody's always trying to fit in somewhere. But the most powerful place to fit in is within you. The most powerful place to be is within you. And the most powerful identity to have is your own identity. But you can't be that until you know what it is. And you might think this is woo-woo, or you might think this is some kind of freaky stuff. But I guarantee you, I promise you, the clarity that you will have when you work through the identity phase of the book will blow your freaking mind. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't going to clear up all your problems in your world, but it'll clear up a lot of them. The structural outside business problems, it'll clear up a lot of those. Adapting this to a relationship is also possible and is very beneficial. Woo-woo works, that's right, Karen, but it's not always perfect. And you're not always perfect, and God knows I'm definitely not perfect. Ask my wife. Right? And there's challenges we have. And so when I come on here and I'm talking to everybody, I'm talking about the things that we need to do to move forward, the things that we need to do to let go, to unleash, to make things happen. That doesn't mean that my life is perfect and that I don't argue with my wife and that she doesn't hate me sometimes. It happens, right? It happens. It's just the way it is. So if you're out there wondering, oh, Steve has a perfect life, it's far from it. It's not perfect. But I choose to enjoy the moments intensively, quality of life, enjoying life no matter what the moment, no matter what's going on. And I choose not to focus on the negative. And I choose to go to the root of the problem and fix it. Right? So life sucks sometimes. Big freaking deal. Hey, Olga, how you doing? Life sucks sometimes. Big deal. So it sucks. Is that you're going to let that dictate the way you move? Is it going to dictate the way you treat everybody else? No. Why? Who's it hurting but you? There's no reason for that. Right? Sure, you get frustrated sometimes. Sure, you get upset sometimes. Sure, you get mad sometimes. Sure, you want to punch your hand through a wall sometimes. Or maybe you don't. I do. But do you do it? I hope not. You ask yourself this question. It's like, why do I feel like that? What's causing me to feel like that? And then when you find out what that is, you say, why does that cause me to feel like that? And then once you find that out, you go, why does that cause me to think like that and feel like that? And then maybe you'll get down to the root of it. Like, well, actually, it has nothing to do with anything on the outside. It's on the inside. And that goes for everybody in a relationship. You don't react to something unless it bothers you, right? I mean, that's an obvious, right? Well, why does it bother you? And then why does that bother you? And why does that bother you? And why does that bother you? Think about that. Right? So, it's a long journey, life, right? So Why take the negative journey, negative path? Look in the darkness, look in the light, damn it. We don't need to look at all that crap, right? So when you're talking about how much truth is in who you are, who you think you are, that's the question. Are you putting on a facade to the outside? Are you doing what you think you're supposed to do? Are you reacting to the things you learned before? You're dictating your future on your past? Are you acting like in a certain group? Are you acting in a certain demographic? Are you acting in a certain identity? Right? Do you call yourself something other than yourself? Hey, Olga, do you identify your outward identity as something other than who you are, not what you are? Right? And I could go into examples, but you know what I mean. Right? I'm a cowboy. I'm a veteran. Right? I'm a disabled veteran. Actually, yeah, maybe you are, but is that who you are for real? No, of course it's not. That's an identifier. That's an identity. It puts you in a group that makes you feel what? Makes you feel special, right? And what's that specialness? It's from the outside, isn't it? Imagine feeling that special from the inside. I promise you it's much more powerful. And people of every identity are drawn to you instead of just your own. And you have no enemies through there as well. Maybe some people that can't figure you out and think that, okay, he must be, whatever, or she must be whatever. Yeah. And but this is the deal, Jared. Yep, I'm just me, exactly. But being just me doesn't mean being mean, malice, or whatever. Like some people think like I'm me, F you. If you don't like the way I am, then you F off. That's not what I'm talking about. Anybody can do that. Because when you embrace who you really are, when you understand who you really are, it can only be good. It can only be good. Because people are not intrinsically evil. They're not. When you peel back the onion, peel back the layers of the onion, you don't find bad in people. Bad comes from the outside. Bad comes from reactions. Bad comes from treatment. Bad comes from experiences. Bad comes from trauma. We all start out as good people. We all start out as angels, if you will. And I'm a firm believer we can get back there. Maybe not completely. We can get closer than we are right now. So being yourself doesn't mean saying screw you to everybody else. That's not what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people think that's what it means, but it doesn't. Being you is embracing who you are in this universe, and you are connected to everybody in this universe, period. Right? And yeah, I'm a business guy. And yeah, I've worked in the corporate levels and with rock stars and all that kind of stuff. But I was always just one of them, no matter where I was, because I was me. And when you're you, you fit in everywhere. So if you don't feel like your life is going so good right now, maybe that's a good thing. Because if you don't feel like you fit in somewhere, if you don't feel like you're one of the crowd or the in-group or the cool people or whatever, maybe that's a good thing. Think about that. Amen, Olga. Amen, Jeffrey. Amen to that. You know what? Fuck it. I don't want to fit in. Excuse my French. If I don't fit in because who I am, then I don't give a shit. But I don't try to fit in. So I don't even notice if I don't fit in because it doesn't resonate with me if I do or don't fit in because I'm me. I stand on my own solid ground, right? That's what happens when you embrace your identity. You stand on your own solid ground. So no matter where you are, you fit in. Or you don't, or whatever, but you don't notice it because it's not part of your world, your worldview. It doesn't even matter. So when I ask how much truth is in who you are or think you are, that's why I'm asking. Amen, Karen. Karen knows what I'm talking about. Hey, Olga. French. That's what I'm talking about the whole time. How much truth is in who you are? And if you don't know who you are, well, probably not much, right? So get out there, honest to God. If you haven't read Humble Alpha or Unleash Your Humble Alpha yet, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I'm not just saying that. The book is changing lives, man. It's changing the paradigm of leadership. It is incredible. Has an incredible impact all over the world. Everybody we talk to, it's just incredible. And again, you're going to express yourself as who you are anyway. And if you're doing it through an identity, you're doing it through a title, you're doing it through a position or whatever it is, people are going to see you for who you are anyway, consciously or subconsciously. Yeah. So why not just be yourself in the first place and figure that stuff out? Hey, Ross, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Olga, indeed. All right. Simple as that. Forget all the titles and all the identities and all the different groups and all the different organizations, and this matters and that matters, and I matter and you matter and she matters and he matters and they matter and whatever. People are going to be who they're going to be. But the most powerful people, they're the ones who are who they are. All right? I'm on my third read. Each time I was awakening something else I didn't know about myself. Jeffrey, I love that about you, brother. You just keep going, man. That's what it's all about. It takes a while. Look, I'm 54. I'm still going. I'm still going through this journey as well. So yeah, let's face it. Life sucks sometimes. It's hard. It's difficult. Shit happens. Rocks hit you in the face. You get run over by a truck or whatever, metaphorically, hopefully. Right? So what? So what? I'm not saying suck it up and drive on. I'm talking acknowledge it. Why did it happen? Why does it bother you? Why did that bother you? And when that happened, why did that bother you? And figure it out. Because I promise you, every single thing that you think your partner's doing to you, every single thing that you think your business partner is doing to you, the only reason you're reacting to it is because there's something in you that is not aligned. It's the truth. I know it because it happens to me still. Which I say still. Of course it happens to me. Right? We have an argument with my wife and I look inside, I'm like, Jesus, what an idiot. Right? I never went that deep. So every time it's a learning experience. So I don't enjoy arguing. I know she doesn't. My wife doesn't. But when we do, it's like I like to learn, because then I can make changes, not to my external or the way I act, but to my program, my operating system on the inside, and actually adapt my operating system to what's right for me. If everyone's their self, void of the actions or the activities on the outside, you can't help but get along with them. It's just the way it is. Ross is a perfect example. Ross Tompkins is a perfect example. One of his employees said that to him too, or the husband of one of his employees said that to him too. Like you're just you. You're unapologetically you. Again, it doesn't mean if everybody else I'm going to be me. No. You're in a position where everyone's attracted to you because you're you. Boom. And that's why people are successful. That's why certain people get to a certain point. That's why you see the influencers are always different than everybody else, because they're not in one identity group. So cowboys and cowgirls and veterans and disabled veterans and lefts and rights and blues and reds and whatever, drop the titles, drop the organizations, be you, unabatingly you. All right. All right. I hope that was a good one for you two today, for everyone today. You have a fantastic one. It was great chatting a little longer today than usual. And remember what we always say, it's all about that wonderful quality of life. Oh, wait, Ross. Life is easier when you surround yourself with the right people. And as we all learn about ourselves, our operating systems, we find ourselves surrounded by more and more people. Ross, man, I love you, brother. Honest to God. Hey, Beata. QOL, Karen. Love you, brother. Ross, I'm glad you're in my life, man. Thank you so much. Hello, Beata. Olga. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Quality of life. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.